As creatives, we're always looking for new tools to reimagine, do something different. It's sometimes hard to do though, because as that saying goes, there's nothing new under the sun. Well, some of that's true. So you have to reinvent, use things, use tools, and ways to do things. Today, I want to talk about using particles and light leaks. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, I can go and just download it from a stock site. You're 100% right. For me, I like to learn how everything is done, do it myself, and customize it the way that I want, and maybe put a spin on it. So let's get into it. So first things first, obviously you're going to need some sort of light source. I'm using the Amaran 60D for this one. By the way, great light, really easy to mount. I love it for the smaller studio settings. I do have a Manfrotto arm coming off one of the rafters back here. Not something you need, but you can use different lights. You can use smaller lights. As long as the light source is close, then you'll be good to go. Right now it's at 73%, but I can lower that a little bit. Next thing, what we're going to need is we're going to need a camera. Whether you're using a smaller mirrorless camera, that is not going to matter. So right now I'm going to do it with the FX3, and I also did a test here with the Ursa G2. So you definitely want to be close to the light because we really want to get that bright source close so we capture those particles. You want a decent enough light to give you enough coverage. If you use something, let's say, like this smaller aperture light here, this one is the MC. You can do that as well. As long as you can mount it near the lens, you should be fine. Or you can use one of these tube lights. I happen to have this Nanolite, which I can show you for some light leaks as well. But right now we're going to shoot some particles. Recommendation is to put a black backdrop back here, which is going to be a huge important element here. If you do it on white, it's obviously not going to work properly. Now the reason we're putting a black backdrop on here is literally when we use the screen effect in compositing, the particles and everything else will not be seen. So the black, think about it as subtraction. So we're taking out whatever we're shooting on here. Now, what I want to do is I want to start off by shooting a few particles kind of floating around in air. So when we have a light source in our footage, or if we want to use it for a titling scene, this is really, really simple to use. So next up, what we want to do is this. We want to get some sort of paper towel, anything that has some fabric to it, or toilet paper will do as well. These are obviously common household things, and you can use that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tear them, and I'm going to move the camera away for a second to show you what that looks like, and see if we can hone in and focus in on exactly what the light is doing right now. Right now I have a backlight back here just to obviously light this set, but if I was doing it to actually record it, I would turn it off. So let me turn that off. And what you do is you slowly rip it, make sure it's out of frame, and as you'll see, particles will start floating by. Now you want to do a couple of these to kind of keep it consistent, and then you'll get these nice little kind of particle effects happening as you're ripping through. And that happens as well if you wanted to use the toilet paper. There you go. You get kind of more of a burst with the toilet paper, which kind of flows out, and the light itself kind of shoots it out, which is really, really nice. All right, so now that we got this place all dusty, let's talk a little bit about light leaks. So you definitely want to keep that backdrop back in there again, because again, we're going to be using that screen method of compositing all this stuff in. Now you can adjust the light, you can use different lights. The one important thing is this, is that you want to have some sort of brightness there because it is going to overlay. So what we'll do is We'll bump up the brightness a little bit and we're gonna move camera a little bit. Now I found something that really helps out and creates these nice little rays. But let's try our basic kind of like light leak. So again, you can use a light like this, you can use this light, doesn't matter. Let's just go with something like this MC from Aputure. Let's give that a go. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna create these simple light leaks and see what goes on there. I want it to be soft, so I wanna get this thing out of focus as much as I can. Now, if you just kind of like move the light around, you'll get a little bit of it, but it's nothing special. You can reflect it with mirrors, you can do a whole bunch of stuff like this, and that'll do some of it. But here's something that's gonna be a little bit better than that, and I think you're gonna like this. So you can find some of these on Amazon and your bookstores, but what this does, this is basically a magnifying paper, or it's like a plastic sheet. What that does, obviously, is people use it to read. If they're having trouble with reading, instead of using readers, they use this. And what this does is it magnifies, but not only does it magnify, it actually changes just how light is refracted off your lens. So it actually saves you a lot of time and trouble. So I got these small sheets. I'll put a link below. I got them from Amazon. They're fairly cheap. And what you do is you literally can put them right on top of your matte box here, just like this. I know it sounds kind of hokey, but now you don't have to buy a specific lens. You don't have to mess around with anything, but it gives you an effect that's really interesting. And this is great for light leaks. It works extremely well. And I really like that because you can gel your lights, get different moods, you can color correct in post, but you're getting these amazing little light leaks that you can use. Now, if I turn this off and wanted to use the MC, for example, again, we have that key light there, so it's not ideal. Let's turn this back on a second. So you're gonna get some really interesting light leaks here, because what's happening is blurring everything out. You're just getting the light leaks. Now, if I kind of went even above, it's really nice and is organic. You can go like that, or you can go kind of up and down to create that, which is really nice. And again, you can use that screen method and it's gonna work well. It's a bit difficult because we have the key light going on in here, but I'll show you what it looks like using the Aputure MC. So let's turn this off and let's start there with this one. So let's just record that there. And now you'll see you can get some really nice, kind of interesting light leaks and refractions going on there. Just by moving the camera a little bit, you can get these really nice little light leaks. So it still captures a little bit of the background, and you don't need the black backdrop. If you have a light bulb in your room or something like that, you can use that as well. It's really interesting. Now let's say we wanted to use one of these RGB lights. Here we go. So let's say we want it to be a little bit more of a cooler look to your light leaks. Again, just flow them in. Now it's picking up like any sort of like light refraction or any sort of like shine, it's picking up as well. So that's nice. Okay, so I want to use this for like warmer tones, and there you go. So now I've got some warmer tones. This is where these RGB lights come in handy. Really nice. And now we have this kind of like warmer tone coming in here for these light leaks. And again, they have to be subtle and feel right. And let's say if you already have a shot planned and you want it to come from the left to the right, you can either flip it in post or do it here. Again, I shoot everything here at 120. Just gives me the opportunity to be able to slow it down, speed it up, and adjust it depending on the frames. So being creative can be challenging, but sometimes you need tools to help you create. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you guys coming to the channel. If you are not already subscribed, please do so and hit that bell. I'll be making new content as the year goes by. Really appreciate your time and thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.